Okay, and welcome. My name is Raghee Horner, and we are going to be discussing basic setup ideas for trending and non-trending markets. So before we get started, I do have to mention that trading in the off-exchange retail foreign currency market is one of the riskiest forms of investment available in the financial markets and suitable for sophisticated individuals and institutions. The possibility exists that you could sustain substantial loss of funds, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Nothing in this presentation is a recommendation to buy or sell currencies, and Raghee Horner, myself, is not liable for any loss or damage, including without limitation, any loss of profit which may arise directly or indirectly from the use of Raghee Horner's tools and reliance on such information. So, what are we talking about here today? Again, basic setup ideas for trending and non-trending markets, which is to say setup ideas for all market cycles, right? I mean, the market's either heading up, down, or sideways. So just a quick outline of what we're going to cover over the next, about just over an hour probably. Those of you that have been in the session know that we've been going a little bit over an hour, okay? But really it's just an effort to answer all those questions and cover all this material. I appreciate everyone's patience and interest. I'm completely floored. I mean, you guys have, the whole month has been really a fantastic experience, really savvy questions. I've just been super impressed with you all. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today? I'm going to start off with a quick review, and I do mean quick because we had a session prior to this last week discussing my 34 EMA wave. As far as setup, look back, clock angles, and market cycle. I will be going through that quickly. I do not have the time today to go into detail with that. I apologize, but we definitely have some new material to cover. But I will review it, okay? We're gonna review trending versus non-trending chart patterns using the PRS, okay, for examples of those. In fact, I might even just go ahead and utilize the plugin on the platform. We'll see. But we'll talk about trending versus non-trending chart patterns. Okay, and then we're going to get into the new material. How to do what I call a swing trade. What is it? Which is basically a trend following setup. How to use the trend lines to follow the trend, to note reversals in the trend, and discuss a little bit of some order entry. This is where I want the rubber to meet the road and take some of this charting analysis that we've been doing for this month and start discussing some of the actual order entry ideas that I'll share with you. Again, these are just ideas, just different concepts that I've used that I'm going to share with you. And in the end, you definitely want to do what you're comfortable with. But I'll share some ideas about limit orders and stop orders and so forth. We're going to talk about momentum setups, how to wait for momentum, how to confirm the breakout from a sideways market using that MACD traditional. That download you can get at the ibfx.com website. And I'll be talking about how I like to set stop orders to bracket entries in these situations where there are sideways non-trending markets. So we'll talk about those entries as well as the order entry that accompanies these strategies. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the review of the 34 EMA wave. I know some of you have gone ahead and downloaded the GRAB program, which is the green, red, and blue you see on my charts. If you have, you pretty much are looking at the wave in this format with the dotted gray lines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change into the colors that I usually use, and while I'm doing that, I'll also show you how to set up the wave on your chart. Now, the wave is a tool of mine that I won't say invented, because exponential moving averages have been around forever, but what I did is put together this trio of Fibonacci-based moving averages. It's a Fibonacci number. The setting is a period 34. I'm going to show you how to set it up in just a moment. But I put together this trio of moving averages as well as how to read it, as well as how to get the right amount of data to get a proper angle of it. So there's a whole set of strategies surrounding how to use this thing right. And I think very few indicators are just a matter of laying them up on your charts and just going to town. I think you have to understand that before you use any kind of indicator, you have to understand the proper perspective, and that's a big part of using the wave. All right, so how do you set up the wave? Really simple, super simple. It's very easy to do on the IBFX platform. And essentially all you need to do is grab the Insert drop-down menu. You're going to then go over to Indicators. Now some of you might already have moving averages in this top section here. For those of you that do not, go to Trend, then go to Moving Average. When you get that, you'll see the Moving Average Parameters box. Okay, it's the first tab. And we're going to set the period at 34. That's that Fibonacci number. Okay. We're going to use an exponential moving average, which means it weights more recent data with more importance. And we're going to set one up on the high, which I like to usually set up in a green color. Okay, so I'm going to go up there and grab the green. And I like to also make it a little thicker. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make this line a little bit thicker. So 34 period exponential high. I like to color mine green. And there's that first line. Now all I'm doing, by the way, is just laying 3 moving averages on this chart. What you see on this chart right now from last week is the Grab plugin, which I think we're going to have available at the site pretty soon. Okay? We'll have it available at the Interbank FX site. What we're trying to do is get a self-installer so it's a little bit easier to get running on your platform, as well as change the colors and some of the settings to settings that I personally like, so you don't have to go through that. But what I'm showing you right now is how to set up the wave, which is the key part of this, which is these 3 moving averages is the key. The colors of the bars is just another visual reading of how prices are in relation to the wave. Basically, if prices are closing above the wave, they're green. If they're closing within the wave, they're blue. And if they're closing below the wave, they're red. And then to differentiate up and down candles, the light color, light green would be an up candle, dark green would be a down candle, and then with the red, same thing. The lighter version of the color is the up candle, the darker version of the color is the down candle. All right, so let's finish putting the wave on this chart. I'm going to go to Insert, Trend, Moving Average, and this time I'm going to put the 34 again, but on the close. Exponential on the close. And I like to color that one blue. Again, just my preference, so we'll go ahead and put blue on that one. Okay, and finally the last one, Insert, Indicators, Trend, Moving Average, is the 34 low. 34 period exponential low, and this one I like to color red. And there you go. Yeah, you have the wave on your chart. Now, for those of you that don't like this kind of, I don't know what color blue you would call that, but if you wanted to change any of the colors, or you wanted to change a setting, right-click the chart, go to Indicator List, and edit the appropriate moving average. Maybe you want something a little duller as far as a blue. I put steel blue. That right there is steel blue for those of you that might like that a little bit better. Okay? All right, so taking a look here at this chart, what I've just done is I've overlaid the wave on this chart. Okay? Here's an example of what it would look like on the more traditional black and yellow background. So you see there's the wave here, and then I have the 200 period simple moving average, which is what you're seeing there, and then this dotted white line is the 50 period. This is something that they call the golden cross. When the 50 and the 200 interact, you actually don't need it on your chart. If you wanted to remove it, you certainly could. I just want to let you know what it is. It's the 34 period high-low close, my wave, in the green, red, and blue, and then I've got the 50 simple, and I've got the 200 period simple in the white. Okay? All right. So, taking a look at this chart right here with the moving averages, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove. I want to remove the 200 period. I want to change the color in that blue so you guys can see that one more time. And I find that steel blue is pretty good on a black background for those of you that might be having trouble seeing it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put the other line of the wave in here, and we are in business. All right, so this is pretty much what your chart should look like with the wave. Okay?